What is going on?
Techs and ads reporting for UTG. Judy, hope you're doing well wherever you are. Nice to be back. The dynamic duo here again. Obviously, we don't really need to be talking about crypto and BTC as much because, from what we've showed you, not a great deal has
Yeah.
changed. But here we are again, seemingly headed towards this demand zone. And I know I harp on this, but I can't help myself. I cannot help myself but jump on Twitter during the day and have a look at what the masses are doing. Fundamentally, not so much related to crypto, but Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, stood down today. And we look at what he's doing with Square and their BTC payments. We saw that MicroStrategy purchased another $444 million worth of BTC overnight at an average price of around $59,000. I think taking them up to around $3.4 billion in BTC alone at the moment. So looking at these levels, when you've got guys like Michael Saylor and the big guys jumping in and very openly accumulating BTC, these are the brightest, most brilliant investing minds on the planet. So we're still at this phase locally where we've been speaking about since really the 16th of November, which is the 30th today, talking about this as a Wyckoff schematic, which we'll get into in a little bit. But ads, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on the big dog at the moment. What's going on with BTC in your eyes?
Um, if we're talking about upwards trajectory, it's looking less likely, honestly. When it comes to, I know there is bits and pieces, if we're talking about trend lines and stuff like this, but in hindsight or in general, we haven't made a high just yet, so it's not really confirmed that we are or we will head back up to 64. I've said this a few times in the Discord as well. Prepare for both scenarios in the sense of, are we going to head back up to 60, 66, 65? That's all well and good, but it might not happen, and then the latter might not happen either, in which we might not hit the 52 mark as we have suggested. But if I'm to swing either way, in general, I would say the 52 mark is probably more likely in this instance because we haven't made any higher highs. We have just been continuing the descending structure. And if we draw in a relevant trend line, it becomes very apparent. And of course, if you want to take it the other way or the other direction, we have the broadening wedge there. And of course, correct me if I'm wrong, Ty, but these can break either side anyway.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, with a descending broadening wedge, what you're looking for is this sort of formation, which you've said you're either looking for a break above and a close before the move to the upside. And then you take the first touch of your broadening ascending wedge for your initial first target.
Mm-hmm.
Or indeed, yeah, it can break down and break down to the bottom of this
Wedge,
diagonal.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
really, I guess as we stand at the moment, there's nothing really definitive telling us which way we're going to break. We're kind of in no man's land from a broadening wedge perspective. But certainly, this fills the mindset of a continued move to the downside, in my opinion, as well.
It does, and certainly if you do extend the levels out a little bit, we get this not a confirmation. However, we have moved through the level of demand that we are currently sitting in. We are referencing a lot of the liquidity to the left-hand side as it stands, and we have moved through or even, eaten up a lot of that liquidity with that level of demand there, and in which we have moved upwards from that level, but we have, of course, seemingly, topped out on our oscillators already. And of course, not made a higher high at the same time. So there's a few bits and pieces, dribs and drabs that we can really, take from this. Are we expecting a further move to the downside at 52k? It's probably likely. Is that a guarantee? Of course not. However, if we are to move from here overnight, get some volume into the market and push above, the 58k mark or even our broadening wedge structure, then it would look good, as Ty did mention, to test some of the liquidity that we have around the 60k mark and maybe use that as a level of support for a movement to the upside if we get that scenario over the next few days. But we need to see if this broadening wedge does continue, and looking like it will.
It's like a formation within a formation, and that's
Mm.
why these things are so subjective, depending on how you
Yeah.
look at it. Because other people are posting things like this as well, showing like
Okay.
this falling wedge pattern, which I
Yeah.
guess to a degree is kind of respected, but it's a very open-ended sort of broad wide sort of channel. So I'm not putting a great deal of weight on that, but what I am putting a fair bit of weight on is this area here, that if we break it and we look to the structure on the left hand side, it's a pretty quick little dip. And I would imagine if we put our volume profile on there, which we don't have to do, but it would be a bit of a volume cascade immediately down to that 52k level, where we would likely see something like this in terms of our volume profile. So let's bang it on and see what it says anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So there's our volume chasm there. So we can see there's a fair bit of liquidity based at this point here.
Yeah.
We have had a number of touches now at this point. So this demand zone is weakening quite substantially. And I think if we were to hit it again, I would be surprised if there was enough liquidity there to hold that up, because the sentiment of this market is changing so rapidly. It's like, yes, we're bullish, like back to 70K. Oh, fuck, no, hang on a second. No, we're bearish. No, forget we said anything. We better delete our tweets. So, this is going to be the market for me at the moment. I'm interested to see if, I think if we can retest this, let's say this 58K level, I'd be more confident of a move back up towards that 60, 61K zone. We've spoken about the relevance of that 60 to 63K zone, 60 for the psychological element of things. We know that big round numbers hold psychological relevance, but I guess from a TA standpoint as well, this level pretty much where this volume profile sits is going to be the biggest challenge for BTC from an upside move perspective. So at the moment, you can still just continue doing what you're doing. I still have cash reserves on the side for any moves continue to the downside. I think you would be foolish not to. I think, this market for late buys, people who are buying in at 68K and 70K, this is a real gift for you. So let's just quickly have a look at the Wyckoff schematic, because we have been charting this for the last couple of weeks now. So I originally shared this Wyckoff schematic on the 16th of November when we were sitting pretty much right here at around 63K, and I'd marked out these levels for our downwards moves, and we got there quite rapidly, obviously. So this was the first Wyckoff event where we just front ran that demand zone, and then as we continued to move up, we really needed to see a substantial increase in volume before any sort of continued moves to the upside. And Gravy Train called it to a T. If we go to our next one again, which is this this move here to the downside that we had. So we came up, retested it, came up, retested it, broke through it, and have consolidated before the move up. And then, as we can see, we don't yet really have the legs, because from a Wyckoff standpoint, certainly with the reaccumulation phase, which I still believe we are in, we've got our distribution and our Wyckoff our intermediate accumulation phase. The volume is not favoring what I'm believing at the moment. So hence, again, why that move down to 52K could be on the cards, because we want to see a volume injection. We want to see on the daily time frame ads, if we go back to the BTC daily time frame. And there's still a lot of arguments out there. You've got guys like Cold-Blooded Schiller who relies on it a lot. Then you've got guys like Cred or Donald who, mock the importance of RSI. And I certainly am not one of those people. I really heavily put my trades on RSI, and you can check out our RSI video for how we trade with it. But again, as we have said a number of times, this 50 RSI is still holding BTC back. So we can see the importance of the RSI turning green from a bullish standpoint, that every time we've broken and closed above it on the daily, we've had nice runs to the upside. But for me, until we break above that 50 RSI on the daily, I'm happy just to be in small positions, play the little short-term games, and have a little bit of fun on the smaller time frames. But again, we break over 63K and we break over that 50 RSI. I think it'll be on for young and old with BTC. But at the moment, it's just I'm chilling.
There is certainly room on the daily time frame to visit 52K.
100%.
100%. And if we scroll back to the 4 hour just very briefly, you touched on objectivity of these formations.
Totally.
If we roll back the objectivity, we use something that's not objective. If we look at something like the demand level and the fact that we've made lower highs continuously to the downside,
yes,
that is not objective. So
absolutely.
It's there on the chart. It has been printed. It cannot be changed. And of course, regardless of your opinion, it is there.
Yep.
not so much. When it comes to mine and Ty's opinion, but everyone else's opinion, this has been descending and it has not reversed as of yet. So there is nothing on the chart in relation to, the candle structure, the price action, and of course something that is not objective to say that we are moving back up to 60 just yet.
100%. It's like people get this tunnel vision, like in the smallest moves from like 54 to 56K. It's like, just hold on, man. Let's just make a solid higher high before we go shouting from the rooftops that the bottom's in. And like, I'm seeing it so often now, a lot, even from accounts that I really respect, that are just like, you can tell that they've either bought the top or they're deep underwater and they're just praying for any moves to the upside. And it's very disappointing to see, because you just need to be objective in this market. You need to be patient, you need to be rational, and you need to just keep an open mind to what can happen in this market, because it can change very, very quickly. But the structure doesn't lie. Demand zones, supply zones, liquidity, volume doesn't lie, and our indicators don't lie. Gravy Train and Unicorn don't lie. So for the bigger picture, zoom out, look at the bigger picture, stay objective, and keep a level head, because you're far better off leaving a little bit of money on the table to long at a confirmed bottom than what you are trying to pick every move.
Yeah,
it's just not worth it.
Correct.
All right, let's have a look at the BTC dominance. Let's look at F, and then we'll get out of here. So BTCD, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago when we were up, I think, at around this. I don't even know where we were. This is the daily time frame, so maybe this was like a week or so ago, or 2 weeks ago, where we spoke about this level, and I think we were in agreement that a revisit of that level, if we couldn't continue up or see some volume injection in this market, was going to be the likely case. And I'm still of that mind. And one thing to be really mindful of from a BTC dominance standpoint, if we go back and we look towards the end of 2017 from memory, is that we had BTC reach a local top. We then had it consolidate for a short period of time. We had alts go absolutely ballistic. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen again, but we had alts go absolutely ballistic. We saw F go on a mega tear, and then we saw the market come to a run. We saw the market come to a run, and then we were in a decline for quite a little bit of time. So I'm still cautious of that being the case here, with BTC flounders, alts go on another little mini tear, F leads the market, and then it's game over for a while. So we've got Plan B's projected 100K by the end of the year, or 123K or something by the end of the year. Is looking pretty under threat at the minute.
I would agree with that. To be honest, we are approaching December and we're at 50. We need to do 100% to get to 100K. Anyway, okay, but in relation to the BTC dominance, I think the revisit at 41% is probably a likely scenario. As you did mention, nothing more to add really to that. I guess the trajectory is in that direction. If we look at the lower time frame, it is the same sort of scenario in the sense of we are observing nothing to say we are reversing. Just yet, I guess.
Just yet.
Cool.
All right, that was quick. All right, let's have a look at FUSD at the minute. We know that actually, can we just very quickly, I know this is running on a little bit, can we have a look at the FBTC pair? Because a lot of talk around that at the moment. It's been performing very, very well. We're on the verge of if we go to the daily time frame, and zoom out, you can see that we've consolidated in this area for quite some time now, really since the beginning of May. We haven't broken this trading range, so we're very much on the cusp of a breakout move from this range that we've been in for quite a little bit of time. So FBTC, if that can continue to move, that's where I would be of the mind to think that we have a little bit of a repeat potentially of 2017, where we see F lead the market in terms of upside potential, and that's where a lot of my interest will certainly be. There's not really much more to add to that ads unless you want to chart that up, but that's the most significant thing on the FBTC pair for me at the moment, is this trading range since May.
Absolutely agree. And if we are to put in relevant zones in a daily time frame, it would probably consist of something like this, where we have that consolidation area. Oh, different color. Okay, that's nice. There you go. So something took 30 seconds to draw up, and we have a respected price action and something to go off. So we're looking at, thereabouts 0.82, and we're looking for that to retest again. So we're very close to making that higher high in respect to the 1-day chart, I guess, today, probably leading in tomorrow, and the push to 0.82, I guess, or 82 sats or 82 sats, 85,000 sats, something like that. Looking up here, or 85,000, 82,000 sats. There you go. If I'm going to be technical about it. If we do reach that and retest that zone, it's probably going to be very difficult to get through, as we've seen in the past. We do have the steamroller indicator, RSI indicator looking like they're overbought at the minute. So it would probably be in your best interest, if you're looking for this to occur, keep an eye on the dominance chart and chart that one up and see if the trajectory, is to the downside and does continue to the downside, because that will push the ETH BTC chart to the upside.
Yeah, and if we just did gravy train on that on the daily time frame too, pretty significant event. Not only has gravy train called this pretty much the whole way through on the daily time frame, but looking at it from a GT cloud perspective, we just had a break outside of the cloud, and we've also just had a cross signal. So from a gravy train perspective, pretty significant there. So I think that level is going to be come around pretty quick. It's how we react at that level will be significant. So for you might want to wait for a retest and then a continued move to the upside to confirm that we have broken out of this immediate trading range. But yeah, for me, it's looking more and more likely that ETH will potentially lead the recovery from a momentum standpoint, looking at this.
And it's definitely been pretty accurate in the past when we come out of these levels in terms of the green into the green clouds. You can see in the past, or on the left hand side, how accurate that has been once upon a time. So nothing to say that it won't happen again.
Yeah, 100%. Now, if we go over to the USD chart to wrap things up, you can see pretty clearly how well this demand zone has been respected. And again, we're kind of waiting for, I'm sure ads will probably beat me to it, but we're kind of waiting for this to occur as well, a breakout of this immediate range. So we've sort of had this triangle formation where we've kind of teetered in within this zone. But again, similar to BTC, we need to make a higher high above this immediate supply zone. And then I think it'll be a pretty quick move up towards that 4.7. But again, we're still being held back by that diagonal and by this demand zone. But I guess from a strength standpoint, in my opinion, looking a little bit better than BTC. But certainly if we go to the daily time frame ads as well, we've just started to break into that positive RSI territory. But as we said today inside the Discord, for me, I really want to see a bullish, nice daily close tomorrow to continue this upwards trend, and not a rejection at this level. But certainly if BTC eats it, ETH will likely follow it anyway. Yeah,
that is true. The only thing that I can probably add to that is it looks like you said, it does look a whole lot better than BTC in respect to where the oscillators are in regards to the price, and what we've seen in the past, in which we have been, slowly moving to the right. If you're looking at the daily time frame at least, but if you're looking at the 4 hour, we have been, within that trading range. And of course, we do have the legs in regards to the oscillators to move through this level, whether or not that happens in the immediate term, or we do, test some of the lower time frame Fibonacci levels in between, the swing low at 4K and 4.5, where if we come back down and test the 61, I guess, for a further move, that might be on the cards as well. In the lower time frame aspect of things on the 1 hour. Yeah, so definitely a couple of scenarios at play on ETHUSD at the moment. So again, patience will pay in this scenario. So just wait, bide your time. If we look at things from a gravy train perspective, just to go back and look at that again, because it correlates quite well to what you said a moment ago in terms of a move to the downside before a continued move up. That would definitely align pretty well with gravy train, not only gravy train, but line up pretty well with our Unicorn indicator as well. So this entire sort of zone will be important for ETH. If we can't hold that, then I would expect a retest of this demand zone. Very good, sir.
Oh, thank you very much, all. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that like button. There's going to be a whole lot of new and fresh video content coming from UTG in the next couple of weeks. I've got a lot to record over the next few days, and we'll start drip feeding that out. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, for everything that we're doing, if you're not trading, you really should be learning at the moment. So
Yeah.
unitytradinggroup.com, go over there and check out all our guides, or just have a scroll through our YouTube channel. We have hundreds of videos there of previous market updates. We've got, you name it, Bollinger Bands, RSIs, MACDs, indicators, Unicon, MAs, demand zones, Keltners, everything, you name it, we've got it there on our YouTube channel. So there's nothing that you can't be learning at the moment while you are sitting on the sidelines. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye for now.
Bye.